I have another amazing guest that will join me shortly. But before I introduce her, I would love to share some exciting news with you. I am currently working on an anthology that is very near and dear to my heart called Success in Beauty, The Secrets to Effortless Fulfillment and Happiness. This anthology will serve as a source of inspiration for women who need support and guidance to achieve fulfillment and happiness, both personally and professionally. We will be transforming women inside and out. This anthology will be released on June 26th and forward by celebrity hairstylist and makeup artist Lawrence Ray Parker II. Lawrence is one of the most sought after celebrity stylists in Hollywood and owns and operates the private Lawrence Ray Concept Salon in Los Angeles, California. As a celebrity stylist and makeup artist, he worked on numerous TV productions, award shows, magazine, and video shoots with the likes of Naomi Campbell, Shawnee O'Neal of Basketball Wives, and BET CEO Deborah Lee, just to name a few. And you can learn more about Lawrence by visiting www.lawrencerayconcepts.com. I am honored and grateful for him to really forward this anthology because I respect him for what he does for the industry and also for women. And if you are not getting the results that you desire in your business and want to increase your visibility, your clients, and your revenue while being of support to women, I invite you to take a look at this project because spaces are limited, but you can learn more about the project and how we are going to be impacting women's lives by visiting www.successinbeauty.com. Again, that website is www.successinbeauty.com. You can also contact me directly by visiting www.thehairartistassociation.org. And now, without further ado, let me introduce my amazing guest, Miss Karen Brownlee. She is a Canadian publisher of a globally distributed magazine for women over 50 called Encompass. In 2013, she was nominated by RBC for the Trailblazer Award and is currently in talks with Care Canada. So everyone, without further ado, please welcome my dear friend Karen Brownlee to the show. Karen, are you there?
I am here, Charlotte. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us out of your busy schedule.
You're very welcome. It's once again an incredible pleasure to be talking with you and to share with your listeners how exciting times we women face as we enter the new field of 50 plus. It's no longer the daunting area it used to be for our mothers and grandmothers. It's an exciting time to be living. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Can you share with us a little bit, Karen, on what inspired you to become a magazine publisher?
Well, when I was younger, one of my favorite magazines was Cosmopolitan, and I looked eagerly each month to seeing what information it could give me to help me in whatever issues I was going through at that time in my life. And as I grew older, and I picked up a copy one day, and it no longer fit me. So I started to look around to get another magazine that could fill that same function. And I was very surprised to see there was nothing given the strong demographic of women 50 plus globally. And so after great research, I determined that I could do this. I could create a magazine for women 50 plus, but I wanted to do it on a scale that was for real women, not take this pill, you'll feel great. Do this surgery, you'll look like this. It was women embracing their wrinkles, their hair, their body changes, embracing it, making it work for them. Mm-hmm. And clearly, it's a huge success.
Oh, absolutely. What do you like most about publishing your own magazine in particular?
One, there's two things actually, but the biggest one was I was not restricted to corporations saying, if you want my money, this is what you're going to publish. When I started the magazine, I funded it myself. So now I can go the direction that I go because women are telling me what they want, and I put that in there. And they want real things and inner beauty and how to get that. They want answers from real people. And so the second thing is I find it enormously satisfying to be able to give to these women who for years have been asking for the real advice, the real way, and not be put into a box of this is what your house should look like. This is what you should look like. This is what your husband expects you to be like. Gone are those restrictions where we women can now say, this is how I want to live and go and achieve it without the guilt. That's huge, to be able to do it without the guilt.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely understand. With all the magazines, and actually my daughter, she gets Cosmopolitan, so I definitely can, I want to applaud you for coming out with this magazine because, as we, enhance our lives and grow, I think it's important to really be able to pick up a magazine that you can, relate to other women,
yes.
with the challenges that, we face as women, as a
yes.
whole. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. But you yourself know in the industry that you're in, how you look outside of yourself, your hair, your makeup, your clothing, mm-hmm. The hairstyle you have, and so on. That's one part of the overall who you are. But when you look good on the outside, you feel good on the inside. And conversely, when you feel good on the inside, it shows on the outside. But you need to keep yourself trendy. And you probably have seen that. Women have come in and they've had the same haircut or same hairstyle for 20 years. So rather than take a step outside the box, they just do the same old, same old. Mm-hmm. And to have someone such as yourself say, to be bold enough to say to them, we could do this and this. Are you interested in trying? And one of my favorite sayings is regarding hair is, it's only hair. It will grow back. If you don't like it, it will grow back. This is not permanent. So be bold to take that step and do the change. Because as you know, your hair, your clothes, your makeup will date you severely if you don't keep up with who your personality is, what your type is, that will fit your hairstyle, your makeup, your clothing. And it doesn't matter what the latest fashion is. If it doesn't suit you, it doesn't suit you. Or your lifestyle. What if you're just throw on some lipstick and mascara kind of girl and off you go? I have girlfriends who love to spend an hour in the bathroom. They love it. I couldn't do that. But they couldn't do what I do either. It would drive them equally crazy. But that's embracing it or encompassing the needs of all of our women, not only coast to coast, but now from across the globe, the other side of the globe, where I can have articles in the magazine who can talk to these women about their lifestyle, give them some constructive, helpful ideas to think outside the box and to be bold and courageous to do that.
Absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned about the lifestyle and everybody, having their, unique style. That's one of the things that I love when it comes to me doing hair, and that's why I think I got into the industry of doing that, because
yes.
I really loved it because, what style and, your unique personality, it all, that's the way I I uniquely, choose the customized style and look for all of my clients, and I think it's important, for the client to feel comfortable with, who they are, and just really enhancing themselves, and finding that unique style for them,
Yes.
because not every style will be the same. What goes for you may not go for someone else.
Absolutely,
And
guaranteed. Yes.
what makes you comfortable might not make them comfortable. And I carefully consider all of that. Your lifestyle. Like if you're a busy mom, you might want to have another certain type of style that's less work, of course. Especially if you're a mom like me and have 4 kids, you want
Absolutely.
you want something that's trendy, that's classy, and not taking a lot of time. And you have to consider all of that when it comes to your personality and everything. So I definitely can relate to all of that. Now, did you always want to be a publisher?
No, no, absolutely not. However, my personality is one that goes, how hard can it be? Who says I can't do it? Why can't I not do it? Who says I cannot do it? Of course I can do it. And more often than not, I have to take my own advice, that practice what I preach, so to speak, and jump in and do it. But I had a lot of support, and still do to this very day, major support of family and friends who give to me what I need, even if it's just sitting down and having some wine and talking. If it's only just that, that's so wonderful to have that.
Oh, absolutely.
And so no, it wasn't. But I've been a businesswoman. I have owned another business prior to this, which I still do, but someone manages it for me now. In that, to do a business is logical. If you want, what do you want, and how are you going to get there, and what time frame have you given yourself? So it's very, very logical. And so I encourage your listeners who are listening to this to take a look at their own life and understand the enormity that when you hit 50 years old, or if you're 60 right now, or approaching it or something, is you have, when you hit 50, you have X number of years left to live. And of those years left, X number of those years will be healthy years. So time is ticking and decisions need to be made. And none of them are wrong. No decision is ever wrong in the sense of, oh, I should have done it this way. It's accepting the decision you made and living with it and coming to terms with that decision. You may be the type of woman who's too afraid to step outside, and you want to, but you know you can't. So rather than beat yourself up for not doing it, putting yourself down, feeling bad about yourself, is just go, it's not a problem. I'm clearly not that type of person who can do that, but I am this type of person, and I will enjoy being this type of person. We're not in a competition.
I agree. Earlier you did mention some of the topics that you cover in the magazine. Can you also share a little bit more about the topics, as well as how you go about finding your editors, and a little bit more as well?
Absolutely, yes, of course. I found when I started that most women's issues are the same. It's finances, it's retirement, it's aging parents, it's relationship, it's jobs, where you physically live in the world. You might not want to live on the West Coast any longer, but move to the East Coast or wherever. So when you know what those topics are that will impact the woman, you can then start to locate the writers who can do this. But more often than not, writers come to me with a story, or I listen to someone telling the story, and I go like, oh my God, would you write this story? Would you, could you do this? Because there are readers out there who will read that story and connect with it. And a case in point, very, very recently in the last issue, was a man I had met who lived in the West Coast in Vancouver in Canada, and he had turned 40 and he had suffered from depression in the past, was getting excessively worse. The doctor put him on stronger meds. He was a basket case, went to a psychiatrist with his wife, without his wife, and basically the bottom line was, this is his problem, only he can fix it. So he jumped on his motorcycle and drove to the Okanagan, to the interior of BC, and met up with some friends, and then met a gal who was free-spirited and took him outside of his comfort zone in his box. So, and he loved it. So he had to go back to Vancouver and tell his boss he can't work there anymore. Told his wife, I can't live like this any longer. I have to leave. And he left. He left everything and moved to the Okanagan, where he still is to this day. And he's doing 1,000% better. But that's exactly what I'm saying is you take a look at your life and you go, I'm not happy. What makes me unhappy? What do I need to do to change it to become happy? And take those steps to make it happy. Because you only have X number of years left. So you have topics like that you find that I know that there are thousands of women out there who are like this man and who are not happy where they are. But if they could relate, if they could understand what's going on, and then be given a solution, go or stay, take your pick. It's that simple.
Absolutely. I'm glad you touched on that because, you know, there are always a lot of women out there. I know, as you mentioned, that, you know, they keep spinning their wheels in their lives. And, you know, I would love for you to touch more on advice on how they can, you know, really change that.
Yes. Well, number one, it's identifying what it is. And I don't think a person really needs to go and get, you know, a dozen self-help books and go to a million psychiatrist or psychologist visits. It's search their inner being. Their own body, inner gut is telling them exactly what is going on with themselves. And it's facing it. It's like identifying it. And that's hard. That's hard to go, I no longer like where I live. I no longer like my job. I no longer like who I'm living with. I don't like it. It's not making me happy or making me feel fulfilled. But then it's the courage to change it. And I caution everyone who is listening to not hear this and then tomorrow pack your bags and leave. You'll create another set of problems. But to take it logically and step by step and really understand the enormity of your choice making and understand it fully and talk to your girlfriends, talk to your family. It's getting the feel of it, getting the support of your decisions and implement those decisions in a cautious, sound way. And, you know, more often than not, women, they hear this and suddenly feel, you know, like freedom, and then the pendulum swings the other way. You know, suddenly they're wearing skin-tight jeans and going to bars and picking up boys or guys. You know, you have to make sure the balance is there in a healthy way to the listener, to my readers. The balance has to be healthy. It can't be convoluted with other stuff going on. And you know, and there's no formula. You can't go, well, you know, if I do A, B, and C, then D will happen. There's too many variables based on each woman. But there are some guidelines, and I stress guidelines that you can take. And one of them is identifying what's causing you your unhappiness and discontent. Find out what that is, and then find out what you need to do to take measure to create that happiness for you.
Absolutely, because that was actually That was actually my next question was, how do they go about making those changes to really, feel more fulfilled in their lives?
Well, I know, for an example, for myself, one relationship I was in, and it wasn't a married relationship, it was a live-in relationship, and it was going nowhere. And I looked at this man one day, and in my mind, I said to myself, if I stay with this man, this is my future. This is as good as it's ever going to get. And let me tell you, Charlotte, my heart sank to the bottom of my stomach. And I knew that if I stayed, it would be like dying a slow death, day by day by day. There was no living with this person in a happy way, and no fault of his. I mean, it's not to say that he was a bad guy or a wrong guy. We just no longer fit. Our lives changed, and we no longer fit. And I moved on, and he moved on in his direction, and I mine. Let me tell you, the freedom and liberation I felt, but I was never one to do, oh, I hate your guts, I'm taking you for everything you're worth. It's like, no, I love you, but I love myself more that I have to leave because I am dying if I stay. So it was always done in, breakups, as you know, are never pleasant per se, but they could be a lot more pleasant if you approach it in a loving way of loving yourself more than the other person, which is not a bad thing. And many, many, many people think if I love myself more than my mate or my children, then I must be a bad person. But it's like that airplane story. It's put the mask on first so you can take care of them. If you're well, everyone is well. If you're not well, no one is well. It's that simple. So it's learning to take care of yourself in every capacity, making sure that you are healthy, happy, strong, balanced emotionally in every way. And so, stuff like that where, stories in the magazine, they're the real, written by a real person who has gone through and lived through the story they are telling, as well as giving solutions that this reader can take with them to go on the path of healthier living, happier living.
So, in listening to your women audience, have you found that a lot of them are having most of their issues with fulfilling their lives and happiness? Then,
oh yes, most women, let's say like 100 women, 95 of them will be living at some form of unhappy life in some form or another, and it's all unique to that individual. And again, it comes to personality. As I said earlier, my personality is such that I would rather take the unknown and the highway than that way. That's making me unhappy. Yes, because in my mind, I don't think the unknown can be any worse than what I'm currently living. Because the unknown, the whole thing is open. You can go here, you can do that, you can have this, be this, do whatever you want. But when you're stuck in your environment, spinning your wheels, waking up every day, hating your life, that's a slow death. I just can't imagine. I can see, again, my personality, I can't imagine doing that. But I also understand that there are women who are nervous about that. They've been emotionally downtrodden by men who have said, "You're lucky you're even here. You're lucky I even put up with you." Or the boss that says, "You know what? I can fire you at any given time, so you just better be good, or you're out of a job." The threat of hanging over their head of their well-being is very real, and so they comply to it's almost like a bullying effect, and so they comply because they don't think perhaps maybe there's a better way, and then they just spend their whole life unhappy, and I cannot think there's there's anything worse than living the rest of your days unhappy. When happiness is in your power to take.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned, about, being on the job. It's so many women out there that are on jobs that they just hate, and, it's funny that we're talking about this topic of fulfillment and happiness and, how awful to be able, to be on a job like that and be, I just couldn't see myself doing that anymore. And I'm sure you can relate.
Well, I've been there too because my background comes from what's equal to the Midwest in the U.S. It's equal to like prairie, small town prairie girl. And when I was a teenager, 15 years ago, oh, wouldn't that be sweet? Many years ago, when I was 15 and so on, the story the girls were told was there's no sense in getting any further education because you're just going to get married and have children. And that was very real. There was no point. Why would you spend time and money just to stay home and raise children? That was a very valid point. So I have myself less than grade 10 education, raised my family, and I as I said in the earlier conversations, I lived that life. I still love my ex-husband, but I love him as a friend, not as a lover or a husband or a father to my children. We're still friends to this day because I took that step of I love you, but I can't stay. Anyway, so I looked at him one day as well, and I thought I can't stay. It's not right, and so I left, and here I am today. And so you have to go search inside of what you need to make you happy. And my story will be different than yours. It's that simple. Mine's and yours will be different for the next person. It's the same with you when you have clients coming into your salon or teaching people, things. Each client is unique. Their facial structure is different. Their hair texture is different. It needs to be all done according to this person's style and personality, as you pointed out. Same with lifestyles. Any lifestyle. It's what do you need to do to make it work for you, and make it happen. Make it happen.
Absolutely, I definitely agree, and everybody has a certain level of success that they're, trying to reach what, you and I call, success and being, happy and fulfilling our dreams or, not as same as everyone else. And, I just think it's really important to really fulfill those dreams, because like you said, we all have a limited time here on earth, and why not pursue your dreams and fulfill your dreams, doing what you love. So many women out there, they have a tendency of, fulfilling everyone else's dreams. That's what I always say. And it's time for women to stand up and take control of their lives and fulfill their own dreams. And it'll be so much more fulfillment and happiness for them. And they'll be, wanting to wake up and just, continue moving on with their lives, because they're more happy and they're more fulfilled. And
absolutely.
I really enjoy that. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's exactly that. And to take it one step further, Charlotte, if you, again, into the 50 plus, by persisting to live like that, you now will be bringing sickness and possibly early death by all of these things that are festering inside of your body. All of that anger, all of that resentment, frustration, jealousy, bitterness that you have carried around for X number of years is lodging itself in your body, and creating an unhealthy internal environment to grow and spout off with diseases and or early death. So if unhappiness is of no interest, or happiness and unhappiness is of no interest to you to change, then you need to look inside yourself. And I don't know if you remember this, but the last issue of the magazine, the Canadian counterpart of you, with beauty and makeup and etc., I asked her if she would write about internal beauty versus external beauty with cosmetics. You know, in the cosmetic industry, they will say, well, if you use this serum, your wrinkles will look like this. They will remove them and blah, blah, blah. So I wanted her to write an article about the internal beauty and how it so strongly links to external beauty. And if you're ugly inside, and in fact, I was talking to a fellow the other day, and I said to him, he works in a group environment in the offices, and I said to him, I said, I bet you, $, that there is one person in this building that you could put your finger on where you go into the room with this individual and you feel your energy is being sucked out of you by this person. This person is so negative and so ugly. Just entering the room with this person, you can feel it. You can, like, palpable. And he's nodding. He says, yes, that's true. I said, well, okay. I says, now put yourself in this person's position. This person is clearly ugly inside, very angry, and it's so strong in this individual, it's coming out of them. People can't help but notice it and react to it. But I go, what caused this person to be angry and so upset? It shows externally. That's huge. That's totally huge. So there's no way, in my mind anyway, there's no way having that type of ugliness inside of you every day, any cosmetics, any serum is going to help you fix that. It's impossible. I think it's biologically impossible. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, yes, I agree. Like I said, it always starts from within, how you're feeling inside. I always say, while I was, doing clients' hair, it always amazes me to see how after I'm talking to them, they're sharing their stories with me.
Yes.
Like work issues they have. They share family issues with you. They come to you as a trusted advisor. And that's why I love what I do. And that's why,
yes, you do.
I consider all of that when I'm working with my clients, and just being able to see the confidence that these women have after they get their hair done and after they share their stories with me. I mean, it really makes me feel good to really just, be able to listen to them, because it's important to listen to what their concerns are, and just, it's like they trust you, and it's more than just hair. It's more than just makeup.
Oh God, yes.
Yes,
it is. Oh yes, much more.
I really, really and truly enjoy that, and it just makes my day. I mean, even if I would ever have a bad day and I'm talking with a client, they come in and they speak with you, it's like, it makes my day. It just uplifts me just to see that I made a difference in that woman's life or in that man's life by, working with them, and listening to them.
Oh,
and
yes.
I think a lot of people in the industry miss it.
Yes, and you know what, Charlotte, I 1,000% agree with you. And on that note, I would like to have your listeners understand a very strong key factor in not only their life, but the lives that they touch, be it your neighbors, your children, your coworkers, anyone, in supermarket lineup, anyone. To understand the enormity of the power they carry by a word, a look, or a smile, a compliment, that they hold that power to make that person feel really good about themselves, or to just make them feel like crap the rest of the day by their mood and attitude and what have you. To understand and appreciate the enormity of that, because I know when someone gives me a compliment, it brings a smile to my face, and somehow my step became lighter. Even if I was already having a great day, it still became lighter. And then I'm thinking to myself, God, if I had said to this woman, God, that color green looks horrible on you. What are you doing? This person would go home not the same way as before she met me. And so I just want your listeners to understand that they choose that power daily. So when they open their mouth or have a look or an attitude, they are choosing to be that way. Quite in my mind, quite enormous.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you know for yourself, if your clients came in and you were, feeling morose and cranky and so on, and you were sullen and what have you, your clients would leave, even though they had the most fabulous haircuts. They would still leave a little less than.
You know what, Karen? I would be if I was my own client, and I've been like that. I would walk out the door and never mind.
Yeah, come back another day when you're happy.
Yes,
exactly. So it's having those articles, those stories that are told by real women, and having them understand that you could be 20 pounds overweight, you could be 50 pounds overweight. Buy the clothing that makes your frame size just dazzle everyone. And a quick story here. A girl at a dress shop a couple of years ago, she and I were talking, and she said to me, she says, Karen, she said, mothers of the bride and mothers of the groom will come into the dress shop and spend $300 or $400 on an outfit they will never wear again for their children's wedding day. But they will not spend that money on the clothing they wear day to day. I go, I never thought of it like that. That's true. Women do that. Why? I don't know. Why wouldn't you spend money on quality clothing you wear daily to feel good and look good? Even though it's not about being overweight. It's about your hair, your makeup, your clothing, your accessories. And I know some of my girlfriends are larger women, and they are awesomely gorgeous because they know how to put it all together.
Yes,
the weight is not an issue. Well, it is, because why would you want to spend any time trying to lose the 20 pounds that you've been trying to lose for 10 years? Why not just say, you know what? Like my auntie said, she goes, I like cooking. I like eating. I love food. I love food more than I like being thin. And she's by no means heavy, but she's pleasantly plump, and she looks gorgeous. So she's just so in love with herself and everything she's doing. She's just glowing. Because she doesn't care. She has great curves. She's soft. She has great curves, and she just struts her stuff, and she just looks sexy. It's like, go figure.
Yeah.
Well, and I say go figure tongue in cheek because the magazines go, well, you need to look like this to be sexy, or you need to have this to feel sexy or look. It's like, no, you don't. You just need to know how to put it all together. Where fashion experts come in. Go to a ladies' store where they will outfit you properly. The proper size bra, the proper size fitting garment, and the makeup person, and it's just putting it all together as you know yourself being in that industry.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Karen,
I
know that you do have your website. I would love for you to share with our listeners your website too.
My website is just Google. If you just go in Google, Encompass Magazine, 2 words. Encompass Magazine will take you to the website. Also, because the magazine is global, and it's global because we can be found on, if you go to the Apple Store to get the app, if you go on Android, Kindle Fire, Windows 8, Amazon, we're there, and we're getting more and more platforms built as time goes by that we can be on more of them. But right now, that's a pretty good start.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm very, very honored to really be a part of, your editor's team there, and I'm excited.
Me too, to have you on board, because you got, oh man, where you take our readers is unbelievable. I love what you do. Your fearlessness, your boldness, you're like I am. You're going, why can't I do this? Of course I can do it.
Oh,
I am going to do it. And you do it.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we have to do. Well, Karen, I so appreciate you taking, time out of your busy schedule to again be on the show with me, and I will have fun again in the future as well.
Absolutely, thank you. I would love to do that. This was great.
Yes, I truly enjoyed it. For all of you that are listening in with us today, please take time to learn more about Karen by going to her website at Encompass Magazine. And also, if you're interested, again, in increasing your visibility in your clients and your revenue, take time to visit our project called www.successinbeauty.com. I, again, thank you all for tuning in with us today, and to stay tuned again with us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all.